Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be going over what short selling is. I hear a lot of people asking, what is short selling? What is this process? It can be quite confusing at times. So hopefully I can simplify it to you. We'll start off with just a verbal explanation, and then we'll dive deeper into a more visual example. So hopefully you can kind of understand what short selling is and know the whole process and how it works. But before going any further, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the like button, it really helps a ton, and let's get into the explanation. So quite simply speaking, short selling is the opposite of the traditional long position. Your traditional long position is when you buy a stock and later sell it, hopefully making a profit by buying low and then selling high. So short selling is the opposite of that. It's where you're gonna sell the stock first and then buy it back later, hopefully selling at a high price and then buying it back at a low price. It's a little confusing. How do you sell something that you don't already own? But we'll get into that right away. So I'm just gonna go through the fundamentals of this whole process, and then later we're gonna dive into a visual example and just go through it step by step so you can really see how this whole process works. So how this works is you're going to be borrowing the shares from someone who already owns them and then selling them on the market. Later, hopefully the price will drop, you buy the stocks back, and then you return those shares that you just bought back to the original owner who you borrowed them from. So what you earn here is the difference between the price that you sold the shares at and the price that you bought them back at. So what you're really hoping for is that the price of the shares comes down. In a long position, you want the price to appreciate. Here, you want the price to decrease. So by going in a short position, you're essentially betting against the company, thinking that the value of the company will be coming down. Okay, now that I've explained the whole concept of short selling in a verbal way, we're gonna go into more visual examples. So I have my computer here. Let's dive right in. Okay, so we're in the computer now, and I'm gonna kind of run you through an example, a visual example of what short selling is, just so you can kind of solidify your understanding of it. It's a bit complicated just hearing the words. So hopefully this will kind of help you understand what short selling is like. So let's say there's a hypothetical company here. It's called a computer company, and its stock is currently trading for $10 per share. So let's say Jeff thinks that the value is going to go down. He did some research. He thinks that the value is going to go from $10 to $5 per share. So he wants to make a profit out of this decrease in the value of the company. So Jeff talks to Dave, and Dave's interested in buying 100 shares. So what Jeff does is he basically agrees to enter that transaction. So Dave wants to buy 100 shares from Jeff. So he's going to give him $1,000, $10 per share for 100 shares. And Jeff, he's going to talk to Claire. Let's say they're friends, and Claire agrees. They talk to each other, and Claire agrees to give Jeff 100 shares. So Jeff is going to borrow 100 shares from Claire. She gives those to him. And what Jeff now does is he's going to deliver those 100 shares that he got from Claire, and he's going to deliver them to Dave. So now Dave has 100 shares, and Jeff now has $1,000 in his pocket from the sale he made of the 100 shares. So let's say now the price of the company did drop down to $5, just as Jeff thought was going to happen. So now computer company is at $5. So now Jeff wants to buy those shares back, because he's doing short selling. So he's going to basically talk to Rob. Rob's interested in selling his shares, getting out of the position while it's at $5. And so Rob basically agrees to sell Jeff his shares. And so Jeff is going to buy 100 shares from Rob. So it's going to be a total of $500 that he's going to be giving Rob, since it's $5 for 100 shares now. And Rob is going to give Jeff 100 shares, and the amount of money that Jeff has in his pocket has changed to $500 now. Because he had $1,000, he bought 100 shares now at $5 per share, so he paid $500. He's left with $500 in his pocket. So now Jeff has 100 shares with him, and he's gonna take those shares and return them back to Claire. So now Claire has her shares, and he's not obligated to deliver anything else to her. So now Jeff has a profit of $500. And so that's how short selling works. It's basically the process of selling the shares while they're at a higher price, buying them back at a lower price, and keeping that difference as a profit. Okay, so I hope that example really helped explain the process of short selling, where you sell high and then buy back low, hopefully to make a profit. But the overall process of selling the stocks and then buying them back later. So you're going to be borrowing the shares from someone, selling them, purchasing them back, and then returning those shares back to the person you borrowed them from. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you were able to take away something from this video. And if you found any value at all, please hit the subscribe button below. It really helps a ton. Thank you, and see you in the next one.